Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Tommy Maroon Sports Show right here on WCTV. It's 250. Who would have thunk it? I would never guess I would have done 250 episodes when I first stepped in this back in June of 2019. It's been that long. My God. Oh, well. We'll talk about the Cleveland Guardians first and foremost. Why not talk about that dude right there, Emmanuel Clase? Dear Lord, 39 saves. His ERA's under .6. How about that? But it's not just him that's dominating. Jose Ramirez is also dominating. 96 runs, 33 long balls, 104 runs batted in, 32 swipes, and a 3.01 average. Not to mention the fact that Ben Lively has won 11 games, and Tanner Bybee has a 3.65 ERA, and Mr. Bybee has 156 strikeouts. Now it's time to look at the series recaps. First things first, Guardians against the Rangers. That went pretty well. Guardians won that 2-1. I was at the third game. I was at the Sunday game. Yeah, how about that? Daniel Schneemann went 2 for 3 in Game 1. And Brian Rocchio scored, I think, the only run in Game 1. No, I don't know, but I forgot. What I do know is that the Guardians had a home run derby in Game 2, both before the game and during the game. 4 Guardians had a home run in Game 2, including John Kenzie Noel with 3 RBIs as well. And then the next day proved it wasn't a fluke. Mr. Noel, along with David Fry, homered in the third game. And Emmanuel Clase got his 38th save of the season. He struck out the side. What else would you expect from a guy like none other than the legendary Emmanuel Clase? Guardians against the Royals. It did not go well. Yikes. Guardians lose a very critical 4-game series, 3-1. So there is that. And Josh Naylor and Stephen Kwan had an RBI each in Game 1. Nick Sandlin was the opener for Cleveland in Game 1, so there was that. Daniel Schneemann homered in Game 2. And Jose Ramirez had a grand total of 3 doubles. Wow, that's impressive in Game 2. But it was not enough. The Guardians dropped the doubleheader on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wayne Thomas had the only RBI for the Guards. And they picked up 3 hits, came from the 4, 5, 6 men. But in this game you're looking at right here went a little bit better. I know it didn't start off well, as you can tell, but fortunately the Guardians were able to win. John Kenzie Noel had the go-ahead single in Game 4. And later there was a go-ahead, or before that was not a go-ahead one, but rather a home run by Bo Naylor that kicked off a 4-run inning. And Emmanuel Clase picked up his 39th save of the season, but most importantly, his 149th in a Guardians uniform. Ties him with Cody Allen all time for most saves in franchise history. I knew he was closing in on the record. I didn't realize it was already there. How about that, folks? And now the Guardians are only 1 game ahead of Kansas City in a all of a sudden, very heated race in the division. However, we do see that the Twins are falling. They have lost their last 4 games. They're 3.5 behind the Guardians, who hold a 1-game lead over Kansas City. Let's look at Kansas City, because we always talk about the Guardians here. Why not? They got a 4-game set against Houston starting tonight. Then they play the Guardians again at Kauffman. Then it will be Minnesota, the Yankees. I got a good feeling the Guardians are probably going to win the division. Kansas City's got a tough schedule. Guardians, on the other hand, let's look at that. It's also rough, too, with the Dodgers and Astros. But they're the Cardinals, they're the Reds, they're the White Sox, and they're the Twins in a much-needed 4-game series. So I think the Guardians have the advantage. I really do. Tommy's picks time. Yes, sir, my picks for last week went pretty well. Never been so happy to be so wrong in week 1 in my life. Because the Hornets down the Hudson Explorers 31-24. My goodness, what a game. Casey Mizer, 3 touchdowns, including the go-ahead touchdown with 64 seconds left. I was losing my voice throughout the entirety of the game. It was worth it, though. Aurora beat Twinsburg 42-6. And then you guys in Wadsworth, the Grizzlies shut out Barberton out at Sharkey. 42-0. Good Lord. Then in a game that went to overtime, Talmadge against Brecksville at Brecksville High School. The Brecksville Broadview Heights Bees could not win it against Talmadge, even though Talmadge missed the PAT, I believe, in overtime. They could not, or their defense held on strong. So that happened. Olmsted Falls beat Solon 16-13, and Brea Mid Park beat Brunswick at the Finney Stadium 34-27. Avon Lake took care of Strongsville by a score of 21-12. Medina, who was my lock of the week, dismantles the Stowe Monroe Falls Bulldogs 42-14. And Avon against St. Ignatius at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Avon picked up the win 42-21. And North Ridgeville shut out North Olmsted 48-0. My goodness. In a weird scoring game, Boardman beat Kenston 19-18. You also had Riverside beat NDCL 31-7. Buckeye beat Cloverleaf 49-21. And Midview, my upset of the week, did get the upset 34-14. Walsh against Ursuline at Youngstown State Stambaugh Stadium. It was a 37-35 win for the Warriors. The Bengals beat Cannon South 43-7. Columbia easily beats the Independence Blue Devils 41-20. Kirtland beats Dalton 55-34. And Berkshire beat Cuyahoga Heights 26-15. That's a grand total of a 15-5 record with 17 points. Not too shabby. Now let's go to Tommy's picks for this week. Now featuring FBS football. I know, how exciting. You have to go fast because this is not the last segment of the show. Anyways, high school football, Highland against Royalton. Come on, this game's a gimme for the Hornets. Gimme, gimme, gimme. We are going to shut down the Bears. They don't have a prayer. It ain't going to be pretty. I am very confident we're going to win, but not picking them as lock of the week. Don't want to jinx it. Brunswick against Olmsted Falls. Ooh, another good game. I think Olmsted Falls will win and Brunswick falls to 0-2. Brea Mid Park will continue their undefeated season with a win over Nordonia. Once again at the Finney Stadium. Solon against Strongsville. I'm picking the Comets. They will pick up their first win of the season against the team they used to play in conference play. I have an upset. Avon Lake will fall to Benedictine. I don't know why. I'm thinking Benedictine has what it takes to pull off the win. Benedictine's been struggling over the last few years, but this is a time for them to stake their claim and say, hey, we're back. Avon against McKinley. Got to go with the Eagles. St. Ignatius against Mentor. This could have also been an upset pick, but I don't think of it as an upset much considering the fact that St. Ignatius swept Mentor last year. I think they're going to do it again. Beat the Cardinals. Lorraine Titans will beat the Elyria Pioneers. Also have Lakewood beating Clearview. I think Midview will beat the lowly North Olmsted Eagles. And the Demons will beat Rhodes. Elyria Catholic against Mayfield. Got to go with Mayfield. CVCA against Lake Catholic. Going with Lake Catholic. Coach Mike Gibbons, of course, for Highland. His brother Marty's the head coach at Lake Catholic. Lakeside against NDCL. Picking NDCL. I think St. Vincent St. Mary will beat Perry. VASJ over Cardinal Mooney. Jackson against Austintown Fitch. Got to go with the Falcons. North Ridgeville's my lock of the week. They looked pretty darn impressive against North Olmsted, shutting them out 48-0. I think they will easily manhandle the Valley Forge Patriots. Bay will beat Field, and last but not least, Rocky River will beat John Marshall. FBS football. I think Georgia's going to beat Clemson. I think it's because Clemson is a very overrated team, as always. I think they will easily do it. West Virginia against Penn State. Got to go Penn State. Drew Lauer, of course, the quarterback there. Medina grad. And as much as it pains for me to say that Akron's going to lose, well, Akron's obviously going to lose. They are not good. Ohio State's my lock of the week. They're going to beat the lights out of the Zips to the point which it's not even funny. I think Miami will beat Florida. As much as it pains for me to say it as a Notre Dame fan, got to go with A&M. LSU against USC, picking LSU. Here's an upset for you, folks. Florida State against Boston College. I'm going with Boston College. Florida State looked pretty bad the week before in Ireland against Georgia Tech. Vandy against Virginia Tech. I'm going Virginia Tech. Pitt will beat Kent State. Kent State also a lowly team. Syracuse over Ohio. Houston versus UNLV. Troy will beat Nevada. Nevada also a pretty bad team in my opinion. So there is that. What else? Georgia Tech will beat Georgia State. Arizona over New Mexico. Kentucky over Southern Miss. And Oregon over Idaho. Now you would think now, Tommy, this is it. Now you're going to say goodbye. I'm not. Because we got the NFL coming up next week. Let's look at that, shall we? Yes, we shall. My goodness. Oh, my word. This is going to be exciting. But anyways, playoff teams. I think the East will run through Miami, North through Baltimore, South through Houston, West through Kansas City, unsurprisingly. And then the wild cards. Got the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the Bills. I think the Bengals are going to have a bounce-back season, considering the fact Joe Burrow will be healthy again. And they didn't do bad without Joe Burrow last year. They went 9-8 and somehow finished in last place, oddly enough. Anyways, NFC East, Philadelphia Eagles, North the Lions, South the Buccaneers, and West the Rams. So it's essentially the same things as last year, except, of course, the Eagles and Rams. NFC wildcards got to go San Fran, Dallas, and Green Bay. So is that the same teams that made the playoffs last year? My goodness, I think so. That's odd. I mean, there aren't really that many teams that really appeal to me outside that. You got to remember, Bears still have a long way to go. Falcons, I think, and Saints have a long way to go a little bit. Seattle's not there yet. And Minnesota's not going to do good. They don't have a quarterback. Of course, Mr. J.J. McCarthy's out for the season, which is a huge bummer. Playoff predictions. Super Wild Card Weekend, I got the Bills beating the Ravens, Jaguars over the Dolphins, and Texans over the Bengals. In the NFC for Super Wild Card Weekend, I got the Eagles over the Packers, Lions over the Cowboys, because the Cowboys haven't made the conference championship game in nearly 3 decades. That is insane. And the Cowboys will lose that game, and the 49ers will beat the Buccaneers. AFC Divisional Round, Chiefs, Bills. It'll be a story, oh boy, a story too familiar with Bills fans. They will lose to Kansas City in the playoffs. And then the Texans will beat the Jaguars. NFC, Eagles, I think, will beat the Lions. That will be a good game. You'll also be a good game. Rams against the 49ers. Gotta go with Los Angeles. Got the Chiefs and the Rams in the Super Bowl. Chiefs being the Texans, Rams being the Eagles. Think the Rams are going to end the reign of terror for Kansas City for the time being, of course, with the Super Bowl win. Now, if you recall last year, when I did my NFL football picks, I correctly predicted that the Kansas City Chiefs would beat the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. Let me pull it up for you, folks. February, there it is, almost there. Where is it? There it is. I will show you. But yeah, right here. As you can tell, it says Super Bowl for 2023 NFL prediction preview. Sorry about that. You zoom in, Super Bowl 58. What's that? Chiefs over 49ers? I know. What's the date, you might be wondering? I don't know. August 29th, 2023. I was heavily considering retiring. From my job as a sports talk show host, but you know what? The world needs more of me. Okay, that was a joke. I did not consider retirement, but that was pretty cool that I got it correct. Still proud of myself. Gotta go with the award predictions. Unfortunately, I think Mahomes will win MVP. Breece Hall, Offensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year. Jane Daniels and Dallas Turner, Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Years. Nick Chubb's got to win Comeback Player of the Year. He's going to set the NFL on fire, even though I have the Browns going 7-10. I think the schedule's a little too tough. And Sean McVay of the Los Angeles Rams, he will win Coach of the Year. Big games. Starting off with week 1, Chiefs-Ravens NFL kickoff, Eagles-Packers, which is, of course, the, Brazil game, and Browns against the Cowboys, which is, of course, Tom Brady's first game, and Lions-Rams, the first Sunday night game. And as you can tell, there are a lot of games each week. I was looking at the NFL schedule. I'm like, you know what? There's not really a week with bad games. I mean, maybe week 18, considering the fact that that's all divisional games, as you see at the bottom of your screen. But look, you got Browns-Bengals week 7, a rematch of the Super Bowl last year in week 7, 49ers-Chiefs. And Chiefs-Buccaneers week 9, Baker Mayfield going up against Patrick Mahomes. Then you have stuff like week 10. Let's see here. Rams-Dolphins, that'll be a good game. Texans-Lions, a potential Super Bowl matchup between two teams that have never made it, but are big threats to make it. I mean, I'm just saying. And, of course, your Thanksgiving Day games, which are the Lions-Bears, Cowboys-Giants, Packers-Dolphins, and Black Friday, Chiefs-Raiders, and Christmas Day, Steelers-Chiefs, Texans-Ravens. I know I won't be rooting for any of those teams. Anyways, final part, my dream fantasy team, and I'll show you my real fantasy team. I got Lamar Jackson as my dream quarterback, Saquon and Christian McCaffrey as my running backs, Tyreek and Jamar's receivers, Travis Kelce, who else has the tight end, Bijan Robinson, he's pretty good. He'll be the flex player. Justin Tucker, of course, great kicker. Browns defense led by Jimmy Neutron Schwartz. Josh Allen, my backup. He's a gunslinger. Derrick Henry, I think, is going to run a lot. Monra St. Brown, David Montgomery, good 1-2 punch for the Lions. Mark Andrews for the Ravens. Tight end, CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown as my receivers. But yeah, what was I thinking of again? Rats. Oh, man. Forgot what I was thinking of. But as I was saying, yes, my fantasy team. My fantasy team. How could I possibly forget? Looks a little like this. C.J. Stroud as my quarterback. I can show you C.J. Stroud, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Debo. I'll expect Debo. Kyron Williams, David Montgomery, Evan Ingram, Chris Godwin, Tua, Dalton Schultz, Trey Benson. Who was that? Jacoby Myers, thought so. And Keon Coleman and Khalil Herbert. Dustin Hopkins is questionable. Yikes. And Buffalo's defense, they're pretty good. But yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be exciting stuff here in the world of the NFL. I'm Tommy Maroon, thanking you for watching. Till next time, I will see you next week for more Tommy's Picks, which will feature D3 and NFL action. Till then, goodbye.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.